Greetings and good morning. In today's jail tale, we have a Mr. David Smith who scammed more than 700 DoorDash drivers using a phishing scheme. What he basically would do would he would while you're out on an order, he would send you a text message or a phone call saying that your order needed to be verified. Here's a little bit of the story.
Other news tonight, the former Stanford man who's accused of stealing almost $1 million in an elaborate DoorDash scam was shot to death Monday in New York. This came right before he was due in court in Stanford for a potential resolution in that case. News 12 Connecticut's Marissa Alter with the latest tonight.
David Smith was supposed to appear in Stanford Superior Court Wednesday morning to accept or reject a plea offer in his case. Instead, the state's attorney's office learned Smith was killed 2 days ago. New Rochelle police found David Smith shot several times in the chest Monday morning at the Heritage Homes complex. Police said a personal dispute led to the 22-year-old's death. They've since arrested 4 men in connection.
Community members did help with this.
So they arrested 4 people in connection. They don't go into many details on what the personal dispute was about, whether it was about money, some personal issues, or what it was about. How did they get the tip was even weirder because it was a personal domestic violence call. And they initially went there for a domestic violence call. And I think the police were looking around. I guess it's in plain view. So it's not really like they needed a search warrant. They saw a bunch of safes and it tipped them off to some other stuff. And basically, that's how the ball got rolling through a domestic violence phone call. And, that's how the ball got rolling. But Mr. Smith was doing dirt. They were going to give him a plea deal. Now, with this type of crime, phishing, it's more of a white collar crime where it's not very violent. And if it's a not violent crime, compared to somebody robbing you with a pistol or beating you, he probably wasn't going to get that much time anyway. Pay a little bit of restitution, give DoorDash or whoever the money back. I don't know how they were going to distribute the money, but I'm quite sure he wasn't going to get maybe more than a few years, with this being more of a financial crime more than anything. But let's continue.
With calls to the police of the shots and descriptions of people running away.
Smith was living in Mount Vernon. He moved there after Stanford police arrested him in June 2023 in what one investigator called the most massive scheme he's seen. Smith is accused of scamming DoorDash drivers in California out of almost $1 million. Investigators recovered a large chunk of it, $733,000 in cash, when they seized 5 safes from his apartment.
That is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. The average DoorDash order is only between, for the no tippers, it'll be about $2 to $3. Maybe somebody feels a little generous, it'll be 7, 10, $15. It's either or. So he has to be getting a lot of information going. He has to hit a lot of drivers. Because normally, if you notice that your bank account is missing some money or your deposit isn't made, the first thing you do is you check you call DoorDash, hey, what's going on with my money? What happened to my banking information? And I'm quite sure that DoorDash was like, oh, you changed your banking information on so-and-so, so-and-so. In reality, you never changed nothing. Mr. Smith has been fishing and changed your DoorDash information to an account that he can access. What he was doing was, let's say you get a bunch of fake IDs and just open up these random accounts. Mr. Smith was sending all this money to different fake accounts, a little bit over here, a little bit over there, a little bit over there. So he had multiple fake accounts taking these drivers' money and sending it all over the place. California, as we know, is a highly densely populated area. So if any of you drivers get that order where it says maybe one ketchup packet or one soda or those little small orders, I think he probably just placing little small orders that, he could do a whole bunch of orders, because I'm quite sure not everybody fell for this scam. That probably should have tipped some people off. When you're driving, never hit a link or answer the phone call, or somebody's asking you personal questions or stuff like that, because he's hitting you up and he's trying to verify it. So he's going to call you on the way and say, hey, here's this verification link, or I need to ask you some more information. He's saying that order that was placed to you was used with a stolen credit card. So we need to verify this order that was just sent to you. And then he gets you. Like I said, I'm quite sure he didn't get everybody, but even if you only get a few people with that scam, I'm quite sure it adds up. And most people, it probably took a while for some of the drivers to notice that the money never was deposited. Because I normally run Uber Eats, DoorDash, Walmart Spark, and Skip Cart. So I've got multiple deposits coming through, my regular job. So, depending on how long it took for these drivers to realize the money was missing, he probably got away with this stuff for a very, very long time. Very comfortable, to where you keep that, $700,000 in cash on you. So he was really, really running it up. Like I said, the only good thing out of this was it wasn't a gun or anything violent. So we'll go from there.
Police explained how the scam worked. They said Smith would use one of his many phones to place a fake DoorDash order in California. Then, when the driver was on the way, Smith would impersonate DoorDash support and claim there was a problem with the order.
He would get them to click a link or go to a website, and then that essentially would turn over their credentials, their username and password, to him. Once he was in control of that, he would change the billing information and steal any funds that they had for deliveries they had done, basically steal their paycheck.
More than 700 drivers were scammed over the course of 2.5 years. Police said Smith also stole the identities of dozens of people to open debit card accounts where he transferred the stolen money. Smith was considering a plea deal in the case at the time of his death. His decision to take the offer or go to trial had been expected at Wednesday's court hearing. The details of the deal weren't made public. As for the over $700,000 in cash that was seized in this case, Stanford police still have that money. What happens to it and whether it will go to all the victims as restitution will be determined at a hearing in March. That's also when the charges against Smith will officially be dismissed. In Stanford, Marissa Alter, News 12.
David Smith's attorney, Frank Riccio, says that he was shocked to learn of his client's death. He told News 12 that, quote, he was a quiet, kind young man who I had the pleasure of knowing. I feel terrible for his family. And he ends with, what a tragedy.
So, it's a wild story. He didn't even make it to jail, but I'm quite sure he was on the way there. So they're going to get arrested for homicide. He's passed away. The money's going to go back to either, I don't know if it go back to DoorDash or either the customers, or what they're going to do with all that money. And at the end of the day, the crime just didn't pay. It's all good till it's not good. So the most important thing that we've learned from this story, keep your information to yourself. If you don't change it yourself, or somebody pops up out of the blue and starts asking you questions, no. I'll call you guys back. If you feel anything suspicious, sometimes what you do, let me call the DoorDash support back, or you can text support also, or just cancel the order. One strike against you. If something really, really feels fishy, just cancel it. Or if or if something just doesn't feel right, you can always go to the next DoorDash order. But a lot of times these guys here are real sneaky. It could be danger. It could have been more dangerous the next time. People are always up to something in this economy. But anyway, till next time, stay safe. God bless. Rest in peace, Mr. Smith. Good luck to those other guys in jail, because they might be sitting there for a while. Till next time, we'll do this again. Stay safe.